Sometimes a game just hits differently. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 released just a few days ago, and I genuinely can't believe what I'm experiencing. A team of just 30 developers has created one of the most stunning, atmospheric, and downright mesmerizing games I played in years. In its first 48 hours, it sold over 500,000 copies, racked up a 92 critic score on Metacritic, and even more impressively, a 9.6 out of 10 user score. In an industry where new IPs often struggle to break through, this feels like a once-in-a-decade moment. In today's video, I'm going to be diving into my first impressions of Expedition 33, gushing about the atmosphere, the music, the insane artistry on display, and what this breakout success means not just for Sandfall Interactive, but for all of us who love gaming. And don't worry, no spoilers here. Everything that you will see on screen is from trailers that they put out and my first hour of gameplay with the story beats cut out. I'll also be comparing it to other big releases from 2025, and no joke, this game is currently sitting at my Game of the Year spot. Yes, I know, I'm saying this before GTA 6 comes out, which is set to come out later on this fall, but I'm not getting my hopes up yet. They always seem to delay their titles, but hopefully I'm wrong about that. This won't be a full review. I haven't finished the game yet, but I do plan to follow up with a deep dive review once I've seen everything it has to offer. But I have sunk a good chunk of hours into it already, and I wanted to pop on here and just gush about the game a little bit and bring it to the attention for anyone else out there looking for a new game to jump into. Definitely don't pass on this one. This is a turn-based game, which is a genre I don't have a lot of experience in. This is my first one in a very, very long time. They aren't usually my thing, but after Clair Obscur, I would definitely want to go and check out other turn-based games. So please leave a comment with your favorites down below, and I'll be sure to go check them out and add them to my never-ending backlog of games to play. For now, let's talk about why Expedition 33 already feels like something truly special. Before we dive into the world itself, we need to talk about how this game even exists, because honestly, it's just as inspiring as the game itself. So, who is Sandfall Interactive? They are a brand new studio founded in Montpellier, France, with roughly 30 core developers, which is already insane considering the depth of this game in a day and age where games are incredibly more difficult to make. The company was founded by veterans from Ubisoft and other major studios and wanted to make a game with total creative freedom, no corporate oversight, no playing it safe. Their mission was to craft an emotional, deeply atmospheric RPG experience that felt like a painting come to life. It would have heavy emphasis on art direction, storytelling, and music right from the start. They didn't want to just make a cool combat system, they wanted to create a mood. And honestly, they achieved that in the first 30 minutes of the game. It is very, very hard to pull players in and create an extremely sad moment from the start when we barely know the characters or have any connection. But they achieved that. At least they did for me. Clair Interactive is their publisher and helped fund and distribute the game while allowing Sandfall to stay fully independent creatively, which is important. It's important for publishers to empower studios rather than try and control them. We've seen what can happen to games where that is the case and the publishers have a lot of say and control the developers and what they're creating and forcing them to create, well, projects that they were never passionate about in the first place. I also just want to quickly add how rare this is. Most indie studios dream of releasing a finished product. Sandfall Interactive not only finished it, but made a masterpiece on their first try. Huge breakout success usually takes multiple tries. Think of how Supergiant Games, Hades, had multiple smaller titles first. Expedition 33 hit out of the gate. In an industry where massive AAA studios throw hundreds of millions of dollars at games, often with mixed results, here comes a team of just 30 developers tucked away in Montpellier, France, delivering a project that feels more soulful, more polished, and honestly more human than most of what we've seen this generation. Sandfall isn't some giant corporate machine. They're a passionate, hungry team who believe they could make something special. They didn't have the luxury of bloated budgets or endless resources. What they had was vision, creativity, and heart. And it shows in every brushstroke of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. As someone who's been gaming for years, watching stories like this unfold just makes me smile. It's a reminder that sometimes pure passion and artistry can still break through all the noise, and honestly, it's a privilege to be able to experience a moment like this firsthand. And putting Expedition 33 aside for just a moment, as much as we criticize the games industry and all the negativity that comes with it, the truth is we're living through the greatest time in gaming history. Now, let's talk about why Expedition 33 immediately grabbed me and why it hasn't let go since. First off, the atmosphere. Every scene looks handcrafted and the game has style. Not hyper-realistic like a lot of modern games, it's stylized in a way that feels timeless. It takes inspiration from Belle Epoque art, and that coupled with dark fantasy is exactly the kind of game for me. It's the reason I fell in love with Lies of P's atmosphere. And the use of lighting in this game is great. The soft glows, shadowy depths, warm sunsets is constantly setting the mood. The designs aren't grim dark or cartoony, it's its own rich emotional tone. It's haunting and beautiful at the same time, with small touches everywhere. The way dust hangs in the air, petals drifting through the wind, and the water rippling. Now, the music, and honestly, I could do a whole other video gushing about the music. It's a masterclass in emotional storytelling, and I won't lie, that first 30 minutes got me. and I think the only other game that got me before this was Gears of War and witnessing Dom's death. The composer Lorian Tessard absolutely crushed it. Music isn't just background noise, it guides you emotionally through every moment. Sometimes it's delicate and melancholic, sometimes it's grand and swelling. The soundtrack enhances every step you take, battles, exploration, emotional scenes. The transitions are done very well, and one cutscene can have you on an emotional roller coaster, and it's honestly super impressive. You could literally just sit still in one area and let the music and visuals wash over you. I honestly just let the OST run while I'm working, it's that good. The composer has expressed their gratitude in this tweet stating, "Here we are, I'm incredibly grateful and happy to share with you the full original soundtrack of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. The soundtrack is divided into 3 acts, each one closely following the path of the expedition members from their departure from Lumiere all the way to the game's credits. I wish you a fantastic and beautiful journey with Expedition 33 to the unwritten tomorrows." You can find the full 8-hour OST on pretty much any platform. I'll share the link that they provided in the tweet in the description below if you're interested. This whole experience reminded me just how important music is in video games, how it can take a great game and elevate it into a masterpiece. And look, comparison is obviously the thief of joy, but after that prologue, I had one of those moments where I just sat there and thought, man, I'm just the dude who makes videos about games, and these people created something incredible. It's important to notice moments like that, not to tear yourself down, but to let them inspire you to drive you toward doing something great of your own. But hey, that's a topic for another day. Let's briefly touch on gameplay and systems. It's a turn-based combat system. So far, it's actually a ton of fun. Like I said, I have not played many turn-based games, but the combat feels fluid, responsive, and really visually stunning. Every ability complements the art, attacks, dodges, even status effects blend into the painterly style. There's a lot more depth to this game than I anticipated, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by it all. There's real strategy involved, especially when it comes to exploiting enemy weaknesses, buffs, debuffs, and managing your party. Like I mentioned earlier, the world feels handcrafted. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of the UE5 games tend to look the same, but Expedition 33 does an excellent job at standing out. It's not just an open world checklist design, there's real intent behind the environments. Listen, you guys know how I feel about open world games. I'm not the biggest fan. That doesn't mean that there aren't bangers out there like The Witcher 3 and Red Dead 2. Progression and skill trees are definitely present, but they don't bog the experience down. I found them actually intuitive and easy to engage with. Enough depth to feel personal in how you build your party, but streamlined enough to keep the focus on the journey, the emotion, and the art. Because everything is in service to the atmosphere. Gameplay doesn't just exist next to the art and music, it's woven into it. It's one thing to make a beautiful game, but it's a completely other thing to actually sell it, especially when you're coming from a background with a brand new studio and brand new IP. Expedition 33 did both. In just a few days, they've sold over 500,000 units, 500,000 people right out of the gate with no existing fan base to fall back on, no big name franchise logos slapped on the box, just pure, raw excitement from players who believed in what Sandfall Interactive was building. That is insane for a first outing. And just for some quick perspective, this year alone, we've already seen big names like Monster Hunter Wilds and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 come out. Both launched with solid hype, and they're great games, but they have their fan base and they're both established IPs, so for a completely fresh IP, 500,000 units is unheard of. And if the sales weren't crazy enough, the reception is even more mind-blowing. 92 critic score on Metacritic, 9.6 user score on Metacritic, making it the highest rated game from users on Metacritic, or at the very least, one of the highest user rated games of all time in terms of games on Metacritic. Yeah, this thing is special, and honestly, this feels like a huge statement from players too. It's proof that people want new ideas. We're not just chasing brand loyalty and safe sequels. We're hungry for creativity, for risk, for worlds that surprise us again. Sandfall bet on themselves, made the game they wanted to make without corporate strings attached, and we showed up for it. In a generation packed with safe plays, Expedition 33 feels like a reminder of why we fell in love with games in the first place. Right now, Expedition 33 is sitting comfortably as my game of the year, no hesitation. I mean, 2025 has already been a wild ride for games. KCD 2, Blueprints, Oblivion Remastered, just to name a few. But Expedition 33 to me is that once in a while magic you're always chasing as a gamer. That feeling where you just know you're experiencing something special. The world, the atmosphere, the soundtrack, the pure heart poured into every frame. It all hits in a way that's hard to put into words. Now, obviously, we've still got some juggernauts on the horizon. Doom: The Dark Ages coming real soon. Grand Theft Auto 6 looming later this year, assuming it doesn't get delayed. But even with all that in mind, right now, Expedition 33 is the game that has my heart, and I haven't even finished it yet. I'm keeping an open mind. The full journey could absolutely change where it lands on my final GOTY list, but whatever happens, this game already earned its place in that special tier, the tier of games that remind you why you fell in love with gaming in the first place. I'll absolutely be doing a full review of this game as soon as I finish it, a deep dive into the story, the final act, all the systems, the highs, the lows, everything. But for now, I just wanted to take a moment to celebrate a rare gaming moment with you all. I mean it, stuff like this doesn't just happen every day. A new studio, a new IP, and somehow they absolutely crushed it. I'd love to hear from you. What's your game of the year so far? Have you played Expedition 33 yet? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. I'll be hanging out and chatting with you all. Thanks so much for watching, for supporting new creative projects like this one, and for just being a part of a community that loves this hobby just as much as I do. Take excellent care of yourselves, call someone you love, and goodbye!